Hey, how you doing, Coleman? Thank you for coming to the live. Thanks for sharing out and thumbs up. How are you doing? I was just looking at what other people were doing. I just woke up and it's like, oh my gosh, it is 4 o'clock. I did not mean to fall asleep. Good for hearing that. Have you ever watch Sweetie Pies? What's trending right now all over the all over the social media. Have you ever watched that show Sweetie Pies? It's off now. But did you see what was happening with all that? I did a video on it, but I just kind of um didn't go real deep into what she used to do as a living, just going backtracking, their lives, whatever. I was just staying in what was happening current. Because I wanted to see if people would kind of get their thoughts, what they feel about it. Because it was very disturbing. It's 6:16. Okay, my time. I did an upload on it. Yes, Tim's mom and my mom is the same age. He is wrong. But can you? I mean, it's like you couldn't have told me that he was a monster like that if it all pans out to be true. And it appears like they got, evidence and stuff, but he plot that he had a girlfriend when I stayed to set him up. You mean Andre set Andre up? Yeah. Um, like I said, I did a video on it, but it's just and why are we so surprised when we hear stuff like that? But I was. I know it was for yeah, I know it was yeah, a while that he had that for a couple of years before Andre got killed, he had that life insurance on him. Uh I'm telling you though, it's still hard for me to process this. You know, oh, I had to turn up my volume just in case. Yeah, and then that made me start thinking, it's like, whew, Janae better be glad that he didn't try to do something awful to her like that, to get his son and to have some, yeah. Oh, my mind really start going places like, okay, a lot of things I start backtracking of what I actually saw. I actually saw him on Sweetie Pies. He socked Andre in the chin with his fist, and it wasn't no little tap deal. Like he put some muscle into that, and that kind of stuck with me. And soon as I heard this news and wanted to make sure it just wasn't fake news, and put it up on my channel, as soon as I heard that, I pictured that particular scene of him socking Andre in the chin. And the way he did it, it was like, I know that that I know Andre's jaw got to be broken. I mean, but I guess it wasn't unless they, hushed it up. And I remember that his mom fired him, but that didn't last long. He was back, and the things that he did to his mom, just opening up stuff, taking money, and not telling her about stuff, opening all these restaurants, and you know, that's what I was thinking. Oh my gosh, you said it. I was just, oh, Miss Robbie, that she came to my mind too. It's like she has had so much heartache in her life because um his father, Tim's father, was killed, which was her husband or boyfriend or something. I'm not quite sure whether they ever got married, but anyway, he got killed. And then his son got killed, Andre's father. And then Andre, one of her sister's sons, got killed. Another now to find out your son, your only living son, had something to do with the nephew. I mean, with your grandchild. I mean, how much can people take? And so, yeah, yeah, I um, I thought about that too. It's like cause she's up in that house, and because of quarantine, she's probably up there, by herself for the most. I'm sure her sisters, saw about it, telephoned her or whatever. But I just can't imagine her going through that. Just yeah, he needs to. Yeah, he needs to stay in jail. He needs to stay in jail, and it doesn't look like he was the one who pulled the trigger, but that doesn't matter because he orchestrated everything. He put it together. So he thought he was gonna get away with it. I think because it he Andre was killed in 2016, so it's 20 now. 2020. Yeah, they were saying they need to research another kill. Oh, I hope they do. I hope they do. Um, and you know what? What's wrong with him? Because when people get killed, they be investigating, but they also look at the family. They also look at the circumstances and what's going on, and maybe it doesn't look like that they looking at the uncles, the aunts, everybody, but they look at the family members, although it looked like they tried to set it up where it looked like it was a gang related deal. Oh yeah, let me shut him up because he getting on my nerve. Hold on just a second. Okay, yeah. I had him in the living room in a cage while I was on live so he wouldn't disturb me, but he was making more noise. So I had to bring him in the room with me and see he shut up. I think it was 10 years, Coleman, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 10 years for I think they said aggravated assault, burglaries, robbery, armed robbery. Yeah, I think it was closer to 10 years. Um, so, and the thing about Tim, he think he's so smart, but he didn't outsmart those detectives because, um, I don't know whether somebody snitched on him to make the attention back on him because they say shortly after Andre was killed that they noticed that the cell phones, this woman, the stripper, called him and plus some money was put into her account. So who's to say they haven't been watching him for all these years and then someone might have said something or something happened to put the spotlight on Tim again. I know, huh? Here's your baby. He said, "No way you put me up." Yeah, he wasn't going for it. He was gonna make noise, but I thought maybe he would go to sleep. And yeah, I'm going to make sure that I kind of keep you know with what's going on. And see that's the stupid thing. He thought he was gonna get $450,000, and evidently he put out 9,000 something, not quite 10. And he put out money and didn't even get his in, the 9 grand. Then when he went to go get the money from the insurance company, his paperwork wasn't right. So he didn't even take the time from 2014 to even to right before he had it done to even make sure that the policy was the way it was supposed to be. And the thing about it is, he making monthly payments. I guess you could do it other ways, but I'm just imagining he made monthly payments for that insurance policy, and didn't he stop to think, look at the paperwork and make sure he had everything? So he's not dealing with a full deck as far as you know. But see, when you do wrong, you're gonna mess up. And I'm not saying he's stupid because you know, he he was helping at one point his mother's brand. But at another point, I think he was hurting her more than helping because he was opening up those restaurants too fast and losing money. And I think that's why he wanted to stop. Yeah, she was dumb to do it. When he get killed, then she make a call, and they think just cause they had this certain kind of cell phone, they still know from the top cell phone towers when calls, and they can trace it. Yeah, yeah. Right now, the only thing I heard, it was a news station from St. Louis, and the only thing that I heard is they wanted to talk to it right at that moment. It didn't sound like she was being rude or anything. This woman got to be hurt in a capacity, Holman, that we can't even imagine. I mean, she, I'm sure she had high hopes. Well, she did. She had high hopes for her son, and eventually everything would have went to him. So she wanted to make sure that he did things right, and but he's just greedy. That he is the devil and close to it. But and then you saw the pictures that he took, his mugshot. What's up with that grinning? I'd like to smack that grin right off of his face. What's up with his with I know. And he thought he knew certain things that he didn't, because I remember even when he was buying equipment for the restaurant, the first one or the second one that he opened, and he was showing his mother, and his mother was telling him, those pots are too cheap. You know, you didn't get no deal. Those pots are cheap and they're gonna burn up real fast. You got to get heavy sturdy pots. And she had to go show him what she meant. So he was opening up things, and at one point, but then like I said, he started hurting her, because hurting her brand and hurting her business, because he was going off doing things when she find her being in the restaurant business. Okay, she turned 80 in June, and your mom turned 80 in April. Okay. Yeah, and do you at 80 years old, he should have been making his mom's life easier. But no, he was just thinking about himself, just greedy, just greedy. And who knows what things are going to come out? Who knows what things are going to come out because of this? And at first, I was trying to say, okay, now I do believe now that he opened up the insurance uh, policies, for him, and it was because he wanted to get the insurance money. But I was listening to other things, and they were saying, well, okay, yeah, it's not unusual for someone to open up a policy about, on someone, uh, and then after they die to want to retrieve that money for the sake of helping with the funeral and this and that and the other. But I bet you that policy was a secret. No one knew about that policy. And if you open it up because you're looking at, okay, somebody's living this kind of lifestyle, and and they're hanging around people they shouldn't be hanging around with, because they tried to make it look like it was gang related, and then you say, okay, let me, because I know this one lady, uh, associate of mine, she put a policy on her daughter because her daughter was living such a destructive lifestyle that she was just worried for her daughter, and so she put a policy on her, insurance policy. But it wasn't no secret. So I'm wondering if anybody knew about that policy. Uh, I don't know. Since therefore the children share in flesh and blood, he himself otherwise partook of the same, that through death he might destroy the ones who has the power of death. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. That's deep. Hey, Holy One. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for thumbsing up. I appreciate you joining. We were just talking about the current event, the current things that was happening with the Montgomery family. They had I don't know if you watched it or not, or was even interested in it, but there was um, a show called Welcome to Sweetie Pies, series that came on every week, and it was like a reality show. And the nephew was killed in 2016, and they just found out the uncle who was part owner with his mother of the Sweetie Pie restaurants. They just found out that It was a murder for hire that he arranged for his nephew to be killed. So I didn't know whether you heard about that or not, but um it's just pure evil. Just pure evil. Um I just can't imagine. I didn't believe it at first, like I was telling Coleman, I didn't believe it at first. But I guess it's true. I just couldn't imagine a uncle arranging for his nephew to be killed, someone that he was supposedly uh, being an example for. So it's hard to believe, but the way this world is wicked, I'm just wondering why I'm so surprised that this happening. The way things, are in this world. Why do we get so surprised when something like this happened? But I'm gonna tell you, I was shocked, very shocked, because he put on a persona on the show that like he had the best interest for this young man. But in looking back, I could see the anger he had towards this young man. I could see it, and then my mind started thinking and saying, well, his mom was trying to help this young man, Andre. So maybe, and so in so many ways we go, we try to speculate why. But it did amount to money, an insurance policy for $450,000. And I'm just wondering, did he look at his nephew as, oh, he's dispensable? You know, he doesn't he doesn't matter. I don't get it though. I just don't get it. So what you been up to, Holy One? I don't know. I guess I didn't get all what I wanted to say. The video probably would have been too long for me to say what I wanted. I just wanted to bring out, some little extra information that I knew, things that I thought. But, it just bothers me. I don't even know these people. I've seen Charles, the other nephew, when I went to, and I mentioned this in the video, that I went to Sweetie Pie's in North Hollywood. And I saw Charles. He was going to the restroom, and the look on his face. And I had went there to buy some wings, but the line was too long. So I just got a menu so I could keep it. So, as a souvenir, but also, if I was in town, I would know exactly what I wanted. I can get straight in line and maybe get to see what all the hoopla was about. And so so I went to the side on the patio part of Sweetie Pie's, saw Charles, didn't approach him because the look upon his face, I didn't know any of this. No, but it hadn't been on TV shortly afterwards. It was on TV. Um, but the look on Charles' face is like he was about to cry, and he just looked like he was in another world. He just looked out of it, and I just knew something was wrong. So I wonder what's wrong with him. And and then about, oh, I don't even know the time span, but a little bit afterwards, it came on the news on TV that Andre Montgomery was gunned down and he was murdered and he was dead. And then it clicked to me as a, okay, okay, that's why he was looking like that. It's like the the information, uh the show was probably aired ahead of time. I mean, video ahead of time, but it hadn't been aired. But it but then uh they had it on the news. I don't know how that worked out, the way they video it, whatever, and how far in advance. But when I was there, it was obvious to me when I thought about it that that had already happened. But the public didn't know quite yet. Been staying away from those and so much negative. It is, but it is so negative. But you know what? Um, I just used it for opportunity, and the people that watch my video, I just asked people to pray for his mother. Um, Negative things are going to happen, and they're going to continue to happen, but I think it gives us an opportunity to pray for people, and that's what I want, is people to pray for the mom, because she's 80, and she's had so much of that in her life that I was genuinely concerned, because they showed their family, they showed their siblings. So when I do come across something like that, I always want to take the opportunity to pray for that person, because the mom at this point, Holy One, at this point, she needs all the prayers that that we can pray. She need all of them. We need to pray for her, so she'll take care of herself, because she 80 years old, and so we don't want her to get sick. So we want to pray for her health. We want her to be comforted, and to the point where she know that she did the best she could with him, and she really did good by her grandson, did good by him. She nurtured him. She helped him to the point where she wanted to make sure that he graduated from high school, and he did. And so she invested in his life. And then when he got killed, she just, of course, took it very bad. But to find out your own son did it, you need prayer after that. You gonna need the prayer warriors, and I hope she has someone close to her, because they believe in the Lord, whatever. And I don't know, what her relationship is with the Lord, but I know she believes. She believes that, of Jesus and all the, she believes. But I don't know how close, like I said, her relationship is with the Lord. No matter what it is, she needs our prayer, because this was a TV show, real. That part was not scripted. That part, you know, it wasn't nothing to to make a storyline. This is real life, a real tragedy. So I think as a believer, as someone who has a relationship with the Lord and anyone else, I think you know, it is not by chance that we hear these stories. I think that it's an opportunity for us to just help those in the only way I know how to help. I don't, know her personally, and she don't know me personally, don't even know I exist. But I can assist her in putting her situation just put in her situation and asking the Lord to give her peace and comfort and to take care of herself. And that, like I said, she did the best she could. A lot of the stories that I hear, even when Kobe was killed on the helicopter with the other people that was on the helicopter, that was a time to pray for his other children, his wife, his mom, his sister, dad. And the first thing I always, always wanted, I always say when something happened is, oh, I hope they knew the Lord. That's my main thing that I think of when tragedy happened. I hope they knew the Lord. And then when you get information on certain other people and you know they had a relationship with the Lord, it's like you take a deep breath and you say, good, they knew the Lord. Absent with the body, present with the Lord. And then you try not to think about the alternative. They didn't. So I try not to think about that. So I can't go there. I can't go there. And I just say, I hope they knew the Lord. And then I leave it at that because at that point, it's nothing we can do. We can pray all we want. And I don't know, some people believe this, but I'm an adamant believer because of what the word says that, once to die and then the judgment. So, praying for that deceased party. I think anybody who believes that need to do a little bit more research. It's a fearful thing the way things be happening to so many people. It is. And like I said earlier, it shouldn't, as wicked as this world is, we shouldn't be surprised at anything that happened. I shouldn't be surprised that this uncle killed this nephew because this world is wicked, but it did surprise me. And I just wanted to, you know, um, present to anyone who prays to just pray for the Montgomery family, pray for, and the mom is still in Texas, I think. And by now she's heard of it, I'm sure. Andre's mom. And Andre was the last Montgomery. And until we find something out more, to my knowledge, he didn't have any children. So it stops there. It stops there. So as far as any more Montgomerys from that particular family, that was it. Robbie had two sons. Hmm. To my knowledge, I don't think she had no, she didn't have any daughters. She had two sons, and then her son got killed. He had a son, though, one son, and now he's dead over money. Now, we may find out more information as time goes on, and it could be other motives, but I just think, you know, I'll just ask everybody, all the prayer warriors out there, to just uh, take this to the Lord and let him, and He's gonna handle it for sure. Oh, and Tim, if all this is true, which supposedly they have all these, you know, transactions that lead to him, and he's been charged with this, with murder for hire. He's been charged. There might be some other charges, but it might end up being, more to the story, I'm sure. But it's funny, you know, how other people were trying to tell uh, everyone that Tim had a temper, that Tim punched them. Now I saw one punch. I didn't hear, and an employee said that he was punched by Tim. I didn't see that, but I saw the punch he gave his nephew. But hey, Tommy Bites, how are you? Thank you for joining the live. I was just talking about the Tim Norman thing, the murder for hire, and Robbie, and at this point, that's my, I want, I pray that everything comes out, but whatever the case, you know, I hope Robbie um, doesn't just get sick over this, or to the point where it hurts her. You did a video on it. I did too, Tommy. And this was not, well, let me put it this way. I wasn't sure whether I was going to talk about it on this live, but then it just kind of, organically, I didn't really have a subject. I was going to see what, what came up that we could talk about, but it when if you could have took a picture of my face when I first found out that this happened, then and I thought it was fake news. Then I went to Lovely Teas, and Lovely Tea had something on. A few people had it, but not very people had any information. Then I saw a news station online, a news station in St. Louis. So I watched that. I said, okay, this is not fake news. Um, but I wanted to, before I made a video, I wanted to kind of look into it first and make sure, that this wasn't something somebody made up. And unfortunately, it is true. Uh, but it surprised me. Yeah, Lovely Tea. Yeah, I watched it, and along with the news, and I said, that's what convinced me that this was not a hoax. I bet they wish they didn't do the crime when it comes to doing the time. That's right, because a lot of people don't know he had served 10 years beforehand for aggravated assault or something like that, and robbery or whatever. So he spent 10 years in prison. But when he came out and was helping his mom with the restaurant, whatever, I think a lot of people put that on the back burner, like, oh, well, he's doing good now, good. Everybody was happy that um, he was doing some positive things, and so now that this happened, now everybody is revisiting the fact that he been to prison, aggravated assault. They're revisiting where he has socked people in their face, including the one that they say he murdered for hire, and then the girlfriends that he had, Jennifer, and she was trying to tell people, and Janae was trying to tell people, that he was aggressive. He was, they were mentally and emotionally and physically abused. He was smart. Didn't you see that mug shot? I'm wondering in his mind, did he think he did a good deed? He was smiling. I didn't see any fear in his face about going to jail because he'd been there for 10 years. So it's like going home for him. It might be, I don't know. Um, I would just like to pop that smile off his face. It ain't funny. And the thing about it is, you did all that to get $450,000. You paid out almost 10 grand to have this done, and then you don't get nothing for it. But it just, it's a devilish. Now that you know what happened and you see that so-called grin on his face, it's devilish. No, he didn't even get it. He didn't even get it because he didn't turn in the paperwork. I don't know. Since it was his nephew, the insurance company might have wanted certain things he couldn't get, and that maybe he would have had to either ask Andre or either ask Andre's mom for the paperwork, which meant, like, why are you putting $450,000 on me? Or his mom could say, why are you putting $450,000 of insurance on my son? And then that would have been, he might have felt, I'm just speculating, that would have been suspicious. Because he sure wasn't going to tell him, well, I got plans a couple of years from now, I got plans. Yeah. When reality sets in on him, those tears will fall unless he is out of his mind. I think, I think that if he's out of his mind, them demons then drove him out of his mind. Because to me, that was such a demonic deed. Tommy says, I always knew something was wrong with him. I knew he was abusive. Did you see the part where he socked Andre that it was while the series was on because I watched it every week, and I think it came on Saturdays, and I watched it. And Andre made him mad about something. They were sitting at the table, if I remember correctly. They were sitting at the table in one of the sweetie pies. I'm not sure which location, whether it was the original sweetie pies or which it was one of the ones that not it was the ones in St. Louis. And they were sitting at the table, and Andre says something, and Tim drew back and hit Andre right in his jaw. I mean, you can tell because Tim is a big dude, and I have no qualms. He's not strong, He it was some power behind that punch. And Andre kind of looked, but he shook it off real good. And I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, you took that punch real good, Andre." But I'm thinking, how dare he hit him in his face like that? And his mama found out and fired him for a little bit. And, that didn't last long. But yeah, I saw when he did that. But since then, it's been other reports that he's abusive. The insurance was the second one he had tried to get. Wait, wait, wait. What? The first one was 250, but they turned him down. He found another company to do it. What? I did not know that, Tommy. Oh, so he was out there fishing for a good company to see. You see, he upgraded. Now, if the first one turned him down because he probably couldn't get the paperwork they needed, or would they have had to have? Do you have to have uh, some kind of proof that the person know that you're putting a policy? Because I don't know how that works. And then, who's to say it's not different in each state? Wow. Yes, I saw that. And I saw how him and Janae were arguing, and he took TJ from her in the middle of the alley behind the building. She looked scared. She probably thought he was going to pop her. And then I started thinking, too, ooh, Janae, I wonder if your life was in danger. Who's to say he didn't, he wasn't going to try to put a policy on her, an insurance policy on her, because it was all on Instagram, and he was saying Janae won't let him have his son, wouldn't let him see his son. So, you know, she should be breathing a little easier these days, knowing he's behind bars. Because you know what? They got in a heated argument, and then and it was a lot of it was on Instagram. And he was saying that the reason why they broke up is Janae slept with one of the camera crew that was feeling sweet. And then after he said all that, and now I'm looking back and I said, I wonder if he made all that stuff up just to make her look bad. Because we see now he has a devious mind. Yes, I've been looking through that paperwork last night. All of them need to find out if they had insurance. Exactly. Janae, uh, his other cousin Charles. I mean, everybody ought to rest a little bit easier knowing he's incarcerated right now, and they need to start looking through some paperwork. Exactly. She did not want him to be alone with Timmy because she felt uneasy, and now we see why. Because a lot of people was on Janae's side or whatever because they had seen certain things and probably had a punch on TV. But Janae probably know more than what she's saying. She probably was scared to say more, all that what she knew. I wonder. I think he was jealous of Andre because he knew Miss Robert was going to train Andre to do the business. And you know what? I was saying that could be. Not only did he want that 450,000, it's like Miss Robbie wanted to take Andre under her wing and, make sure he graduated from high school, and maybe he felt intimidated, maybe he felt intimidated that Andre was going to take his spot, or make, I don't know. It's some more that's going to come out, I believe. I hope it all comes out so people can see the demon. I hope he tell on himself. I hope he something get in him where he just start spitting out the truth. I doubt it, but I hope so. I think he was jealous of Andre because okay, I read that. Holy One said, "This is why you have not seen me making videos." Ho, yeah, because there's so much out there. There's so much, and I saw that video you made about that little girl. It's like, oh no, no, she's a baby, beautiful little baby, but not supposed to be beautiful to men. You know what I mean? To use and abuse. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So that could be very well true, Tommy. I hope it all comes out. When Robbie told Tim Andre was coming to live with her, he got mad at her and said, "No, don't bring him here." Is this the first time, Tommy? Because the first time he came, he went to school, he was working at the restaurant, he graduated, and then he said he wanted to go back home to Texas. And then it was to my surprise he had come back. Now, was he lured back to St. Louis so they could carry out what their plans, Tommy, you think? Or are you talking about the second time he came and he didn't want him to come? That was in an episode. Yeah, because the second time he came back was, oh, I don't know. I probably saw it. I saw them all. I probably forgot about that one. Yeah, when she was talking about him coming and trying to oh, okay, the first time. Okay. Yeah, I would imagine jealousy had a big part to do with it. Because there's no way, there was no reason for him to hit that boy like that. When I saw that, I said, "What?" I was surprised they didn't cut that out. I'm surprised they even showed that part. And I'm glad they did. So and the parts that they did not show, because there was a lot of things that stayed on the cutting room floor. And I can see how when they're investigating, they're gonna be look at all of those parts, because there's a lot of parts they didn't show with Andre. And I think there was some kind of thing on TV that they showed some of the parts that didn't air. Now they're gonna revisit those episodes, I believe. If they got any, not that I know anything about being a detective, but I would say that if they try, they got him arrested, and to look and see if they could see some kind of evidence in those episodes, because he's proven by hitting Andre, he's got it in him to do harm to somebody. And now, Jennifer came out with what he was doing, because she was saying he was stalking her, and then he tried to turn it around and say she was stalking him. And I just couldn't believe. I was thinking, why is he lying like that? Or is he lying? But then I look at Jennifer and I said, you know what? I don't know these people personally. I could just kind of grab things that you see and what's on, on different platforms, social medias, and try to come to some conclusion to how you feel about it, because there's always other, things that happen that are not televised, and it's not on social media. But nowadays people are putting almost everything on Instagram. So I said, but from what I see of her, her persona is not even to to be like that with, you know, a stalker. Because she's a beautiful young lady. It's like, don't seem like it would be I mean, I felt like, okay, Tim is real, real blessed to be dating her. Like, and I often wonder, like, okay, I don't want to be mean, but Jennifer, what you seeing? What you seeing? So, and that's not, looks is not everything. But if you also have a something in you that's abusive, then the total package is like, just throw it away, out of your life at least. That's what I'm talking about. No, he was headed to the loo to record in a studio. Yeah, yeah. And Tim had the lady call him and tell him she was going to be there from Tennessee. Uh-huh. I kind of thought that I got it right. I got it right. Because then on somebody else's, they said that they lured him to a motel. And I said, no, that's not the way it was. Because even when they had that one episode where Tim and his mother went to see, in this particular street, it was a lot of crime on that particular street. And then Miss Robbie was saying she thought it was a setup, and little did she know her son would be involved. And that's why, I'm worried about her. She 80 years old. Yeah, but I did hear, I almost forgot about that. I did hear that he went to record and got a telephone call and stepped out, and that's when he was gunned down. Yeah, Jennifer said he even got a house down the street from her. That's scary because it could have been her. Yeah. And you know what? Maybe he had plans for other people and didn't, and for whatever reason, they wasn't carried out, uh, because it costs money to have that done. And so with him trying to open up restaurants and do this, that, and the other, maybe he just didn't have the time and the resources to get it done. But I think Janae and Jennifer, and not to even bring humor to this, but you know how they say somebody dodged the bullet? Excuse me, my throat. I think Jennifer and Janae dodged the bullet. And who's to say this young lady, he just had another baby? He, if I'm not mistaken, he had another son, or maybe a daughter. I don't know. He had another baby by this woman he's been knowing for a while. They used to date, and then they didn't date anymore, and then they just got together not too long ago. Well, we know it's at least a year, because the baby is young, but we know it's at least a year that he's been. And I wonder if he showed any of this aggression to this new woman. I wonder if she got some stories to tell. Yeah, Jennifer said he even got up. Yeah. And the thing about it is, and unless she moved, she might have moved, because I thought she bought a condo. And to know this man and know somebody who's stalking you that don't mean you any good, In fact, you scared of them and they move down the street, something wrong with Tim. But you know what? You can only do so much to people until it, you know, and it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out to the light. And the time he gonna get, they, they won't have to worry about him for a while. I have to go, but it was nice being here. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you, Tommy Bice. Thank you so much. Oh, and I really like you showing us the homestead. It is so interesting, and I mean, I wouldn't mind at all being on that property that you got. Oh, it was a son. Okay, she had a son. Okay, so so it looks like his son. I mean, his other brother. It appears like they might have had two dads because his different dads because his name is Norman and his other brother was a Montgomery. Because I was going to say, well, little Timmy and this son, that'll carry on the family name, different dads. Okay. Well, thank you so much. You take it easy. Be safe. I know you will, and you got enough property where you could walk around your property and get you exercise. Don't have to worry about nobody. Yeah, don't even have to wear a mess probably. But I'll be over there to visit you. You take care as well. Stay safe, and I loved having you here. Have a great night. But guys, I'm going to just leave this live open maybe for another half an hour. I'm going to mute my microphone. A quick, I'm going to be filming a video of type of shrimp hoagie type sandwich, or and so I'm going to be filming and leave this on just for a little bit. So if you whoever's here, if you want to comment, I'll be right back and I'll be able to uh, converse with you. So I'm gonna mute it now and let it stay on.